Welcome back, traders. We're going to talk about some of my favorite templates to use while trading. Now, what's so nice about templates is that they're already set up for you, so you don't have to do this repetitively over and over and over again. By the way, by having 5 of my favorites, you'll start think of more, right, as your trading experience grows, and then you'll be able to modify and create more from the templates we already have. So this is a great way to get right to the good of stuff in a very simple manner. So let me show you how easy it is. So as you can see right now, we're on Tesla. And if I say, if I say buy custom with an OCO, this is what typically ends up happening. You can then create this. But instead of doing this all the time, especially if you already have kind of a pattern of how you're trading, as an example, if I said, okay, I want to buy Tesla here, but I want to make a trigger. And then I want to come over here and I want to turn this into a percentage. And I want to get out of Tesla with a 20% profit or get out with a 20% loss, then I can do this over and over and over again with one click without having to redo this over and over and over again. That's what makes it so nice. So here we go. We bought an option contract and we have a simple order that says, get me out if I get 20% profit, get me out if I get 20% stop loss. That's how it looks. We want to make sure we put good till cancel because when we're putting these on Sunday night, we want to make sure that they're good for the rest of the week, right? Whenever you just put day, remember that the order just kind of dissipates. It disappears at the end of the business day. So that's why when we become programmers and automation traders, we got to get some of the mechanics correct or they won't work because we're now programmers. So we have this all set up. I'm now going to save it. So I come right over here to this little guy on the right-hand side. You can barely see what he says, and it says save. And then it gives me this really long order. I think what I'm going to do is do 1 OCO here. Perfect. And I'm going to save it. So that's our first template. Take a photo of this for us. Maybe I can put that in a PDF for you so you have it visually as well instead of just on the video. Okay, so that's our first template and we have it saved. Okay, so now from here, we're going to change things up a little because start thinking about your strategy. Let's say that you want to buy more than one contract. Well, now, if you buy 2 contracts, then in this order, they all have to stay in that same place. But what happens if I want to take profit at 20%? On my first contract and on my second contract, I want to take 30% profit. So this is what I do. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the advanced order form to 1 triggers, 2 OCOs. So now I need 2 additional orders up here to complete this so we can create another template. So here I'm going to say create a duplicate. From here, I'm going to say create a duplicate. So you can see kind of now, all of a sudden, now you got a whole bunch of orders up there and you're like, it's a lot. So now let's say I have 2 contracts here and I'm going to sell 1 here and I'm going to sell 1 here, 1 at 20%. And let's say my stop loss is at 20. And here I'm going to say 30% and my stop loss is going to be 20% as well. But maybe on this one, I use a trail stop. And I'm going to change this to a trail stop, and then I'm going to explain it to you. So a trail stop is a really cool feature that gives traders an edge. And the reason is because as price goes up, your trail stop follows. So let's say as an example, price ends up going up to 30% or 29%. It doesn't hit 30 to get out. Okay? It doesn't hit 30 to get out. It's 29%. And all of a sudden it starts to dive. Well, if that trail stop was rising with it on that last contract, when it hits that 20%, so you went to 29, it didn't get your take profit, and then drops down to 20, it will get you out, which means that you had an extra 9% on that contract and profit that you got to keep. That's why a trail stop is kind of cool. And I love trail stops. So we're going to use that for your runner, they call it, for your last contract that you leave on. it's nice to have a trail stop so that as price just keeps rising, if it doesn't hit your 30%, then it will stop out with a trail stop. So this is one of my favorites here. So now you have two and you got one here and one here. Now, can you change this to 5 and do 3 and 2? Absolutely, okay? So I'm creating the template. You get to modify it based on your portfolio risk parameters, okay? So in this example right here, we're going to go ahead and save this one because this is a great order to have on files so that you don't have to do that. Take 5 minutes to do that every time, right? So I'm going to save that as 2 OCOs. Excellent. All right. So now let's get to the next one. I know your eyes are already going, uh-oh, we're going to add more. We're going to add more. So now we're going to do 3. So 1 triggers 3 orders, which means that let's say you had 3 contracts here, okay? Now, of course, you can change those contracts to 15 as an example, 5, 5, and 5, or, you know, whatever you want to do it, you get to strategize and do that. So I'm giving you the basic foundation, and then you get to utilize that. So here we have 20% for the first one. We got 30% for the second one. We need 2 more orders again, so we're going to create a duplicate, and we're going to create a duplicate. On this one, you got here, you got your 30% instead of a trail stop here. We're just going to put a stop for the 20, so it's like the first one. Here, we're going to do 40%. This is going to be a limit order, and you're going to do, you can see as I'm trying to look at all these orders. And then for your, this is going to be a trail stop for your last runner. Could you do this by dollar amount too? Absolutely. You could do this for dollar amount. Here we're doing percentages, but you could, as an example, do you see this little button right here? You can say $20 instead, and that's of the option price. So, you know, you could say 50 cents as an example. That would be $50 on your option price. You could do it something like that. So there's a lot of different ways to do this, but these are simple foundational templates that you could utilize and are pretty reasonable for beginner traders to get off the ground. If you're an experienced trader, you're going to love this. You'll be able to modify based on your contracts, and it'll be very simple. But just know that you can use dollar amount as well as percentages. And remember that 50 cents means $50 when it comes to option contracts. If you don't know about options, no worries. Though I'm giving this to you up front, you know, we do have a program later on if you're interested in learning all about options as well as option automation. Now, options here, we utilize this for our options, and I'm going to also show you how to do the same with shares. Okay, so here we go. We have our contract here, so we're going to go ahead and save that. And we're going to have 3 OCOs here. That's perfect. All right. Now, if you're into spread trading as an options trader, you're going to love this because I'm going to delete that. And by the way, just to show you, I want to show you how this works. If I go to SPY as an example, and then I go over to buy custom, and I say SPY 3 OCOs, look at that. Boom. Doesn't matter what contract expiration date you chose, doesn't matter the ticker you chose, it all has it there for you. If you want to change the contract size here, be my guest, just come right over here, save it. You can save it to whatever you want to and delete the other one. Okay, so that's how that works. So let's see now. Let's, if we were a spread trader and we wanted to do a vertical, look at how interesting this is. Ooh, so when I click this, it's so interesting that it popped up. But, and it's because I have one versus, let me do this. If I do single order as an example, and I come right back to a vertical, which is a debit spread, and I pull it up, I can pull it up pretty easily. But if I wanted to say, hey, pull this up as a buy custom with an OCO, because I want to create something. Look how it brings it up. It brings it up as a single, not as a vertical. So you need to know that. little snafu there, and they don't know why when they switched over to Schwab, why this doesn't have it. It should have it. So because of that, we need to create a template. I am a spread trader, so I do want the template for this. So this is how we would do that. We would go ahead and act like we were going to do a OCO here. Look at that. I'm on the vertical and you still can't do it. So I have to make my own OCO is what that means. So here I'm going to go to single, first triggers OCO. I'm going to add 2 opposite orders because this is a buy order. Do you see why we include templates now? As a bonus. Oops, did that. Let me get rid of this one. Come right over here if that happens. I need a duplicate. All right, so now I have my vertical and I have my sell order and sell order. And so now one of my favorite vertical strategies is a 50% take profit and a 50% stop loss. Verticals, if you don't know about options trading, is really about spread trading. These are higher probability trades than a straight call and a straight put. It is limited risk and limited reward. So again, another risk-defined trade. Everything we do here is risk-defined, but it's a higher probability. And why is that? Well, instead of a straight single, what you're getting is you're getting you're buying, as an example, a call, and you're also selling a call. So this position is called a vertical, and it's really hedged. That allows you to have diamond hands because, you know, there's just not as much volatility in a hedged position, if that makes sense. And so it moves a little slower, but it enables you to take advantage of that time, right? That entire week. Where maybe a straight call or a straight put, you need the movement to happen fast because the time is kind of like eating away at your position. And because of that, that's why a lot of those options, they expire worthless. So I think as you start to grow your experience in options, you'll recognize that these spread trades have a higher probability of success. And so I want to create a template for that here. So with that then, I'm going to put good till cancel, good till cancel. Let's do the easy stuff first. And then here, I'm going to do a trigger, and I'm going to do a sell at 50%. Do I have that at 50? No, I actually have that as dollars. There we go. There's 50%. And then here, I'm going to do a trigger, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do a negative 50. There we go. And now you could see that I have a nice, let me do my stop here. There we go. So now you can see I either have a limit to take my profit or I have a stop loss to get rid of my position if I lose 50%. And now it's easy. It's set up. And of course, could you do first triggers and OCO for 2 of these? Absolutely. But now that I've shown you how to do it, it's very simple. So now you're going to just save this. I'm going to save this as a vertical. In fact, I'll put 1 vertical, so if you want to add more, you can, to keep into the same, theme of first triggers and OCO or the second or the third, right? So I think we have now 4 templates to get you started with your options. Now, the other order that I really like is like a real simple take profit at 50%, take loss at 50%. So I'm going to do one of those right now. And so here, if I go to just a single order, let me delete that, go here, here, and I'm going to go here for trigger, and I'm going to go plus 50. For my limit, and for my stop, I am going to go here, percentage, and 50. And this is a real quick in and out that you could get into as well and create other different types of templates. So here on this one, we'll do I like to call this just trigger 50. All right. So now we have all of our templates. From these templates, you could grow your template page for any type of instrument that you want to create. Now you know exactly how to do that. And from here, boy, you could really create some very unique templates where you can get in and out on your weekend to get ready for the next week ahead. So let's go ahead and discuss stock buying and how you make templates for stock buying. So remember that for stock buying, you don't use this trade window right here. This is all for options, right? So you just want to go to right where you're at. So right here I have SPY, but let's go to AMD as an example. And let's say we want to buy some shares. All we have to do is just kind of hover over the price and right click it. And then when you say buy custom as an example, you can bring up an OCO order. And this is telling you that you're buying the stock. Do you see this right here? It says stock. And then here we can say, 20 shares as an example. And of course, we would use the same for this if you wanted to create a template for 20 shares, maybe based on this type of stock price as an example. I like to use personally like 50 to 100. So if I was to do 50 here, you could just use the drop down and do 50. Let's just do that for this one. And then here I'm going to use good till cancel, just like we did on the other contracts, right? And then here, let's say the stock price is 167.28. You can now hit that and say, look, I want this to trigger that to take my profit if it hits $1. And then I want my stop to trigger if it's less than $1. So this is perfect for a stock template, right? So let's go ahead and save that. Let's see what this says. So I'm going to leave OCO, but I think here I'm going to put it as stock so it's easy for me to remember. And this is grouped at 50, so now I can save that. So now no matter what underlying that I go to, I could go to SPY as an example, and then I can just go right to the symbol, right click it, say buy custom, and boom, I'm going to be able to find my stock. And it says right here, stock 50/50. Boom. And it brings up SPY, it brings up the ETF, and it says stock. And now I can go ahead and purchase this like this. Or I could go to, let's say, how about an airline stock? Again, it doesn't matter that you're on the trade tab, just hover over the price, buy custom, go over to the stock, boom, 50 of UAL, United Airlines, and then now you could see a stock plus $1 minus $1. Now, could you do this for, as an example, 50 cents or 25 cents? Absolutely. You can make yourself a handful of these for stock buying only. You could do it for 20%, just like we did, or 20%. Just remember that you don't use any of these. This is all for option contracts, right? And then your stock price, all you got to do is you could go to your chart as an example. You could just hover right over, right click, buy custom, and then hit your stock template. And then you can create a whole bunch of great templates for stocks as well. So now you have a foundation of not only options, but also for stocks. And it's going to make it so much easier for you to go into and start creating your own, based on your own formula and portfolio values that you want to practice with. All right, guys, I hope this helps. I will see you in the next video.